What is most important is to make sure that we ensure a Democratic victory in November and that we continue to push Vice President Biden on issues from marijuana to climate change to foreign policy. I think overall we can likely push Vice President Biden in a more progressive direction.
There you've got New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez saying the progressive wing of her party can likely push Joe Biden further to the left if Joe Biden wins. Our next guest is a high school teacher and a former cop, and he's challenging AOC's progressive agenda in New York. Republican congressional candidate John Cummings joins us live right now from the New York area. John, good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you. So Joe Biden would like to win, obviously, but she would like him to win so that once he has the job, she and her other progressives can push him further to the left. Explain what you think her plan is.
I don't know how much further left that the vice president can go. I mean, the Democrat platform is basically the socialist handbook. I was really surprised at the topics that Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez wanted to talk to him about. Marijuana and climate change. I mean, those are two things that here on the ground in New York 14, people are not talking about. People want to talk about jobs. They want to talk about education. They want to talk about safe streets. And the Congresswoman couldn't be further away from those messages. That's what people want to talk about, not what she suggested that Vice President Biden look into. And if people want to find out where I stand on those issues, you can check it out at Cummings2020.com.
Well, the people there in New York's 14th district, do they feel that she is fighting for the things they're interested in? You were talking about safe streets. She's talking about climate change. You were talking about jobs. She's talking about climate change, marijuana, things like that. Is there a disconnect between what the people want and what she is pushing in D.C.?
Yeah, absolutely there is. I mean, just look at her record. I mean, she was wrong on the Amazon project, 25,000 jobs plus. She's wrong on education. She wants to ban charter schools, which are a very big part of the education system here in New York City, particularly for those of the lower income bracket. And she's certainly wrong on safe streets because she wants to fund the police. She wants to experiment. I was part of the last experiment back in the 80s when you underfund the police. And statistically, the crime rates skyrocket. We were doing 2,000 murders a year, 100,000 robberies, 145,000 stolen cars. I was part of that experiment. Nobody wants to go back there. She's completely out of touch.
Sure. And you know, we've seen what's happened on America's streets with the chaos and things like that. And we certainly salute you for your past service. You told me during the commercial timeout, there are some internal polls you've had access to. And the race between you and AOC is much closer than people think.
Yeah, it is. We did some polling, and it's much closer than people think. And I think that goes back to my original tenet in this race, was that this is a heavily Democrat district. It's not a heavily socialist district. It's a working class district. People own their own homes. They own businesses. They have tremendous investment in these communities. They have good 401ks. They have good health insurance. And they don't want to lose all those things to the socialist left, and that's exactly what she pushes.
John, exit question. I noticed that to help fund your campaign, you're getting a lot of money from out of state. I think I read you've got thousands of donors from all 50 states. Why are people so interested in that race?
I've said this from the beginning, too. The Congresswoman has done a tremendous job building a national persona for herself, but she has left the district behind. I have lived and worked in this district for 60 years. I have a 30-year record of service to the community. People know that, and people are interested in the race because of it.
All right. High school government teacher John Cummings would like AOC's job, at least her seat in Washington, D.C. John, thank you very much for joining us today.
Nice to see you again, Steve. Thank you.
You bet. By the way, we did invite Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez on the program. Have not heard back from her yet. We'll keep you posted.